But one piece of advice I would definitely give is make it stand out, make it different. Don't just, the world has a lot of products and a lot of services out there. The main thing before you even develop anything is what is different about this that I'm going to do. How am I going to stand out from the crowd? Because that's going to be the reason that you shine.
Welcome to the Driven by It's For Women podcast, proudly sponsored by It's For Women, bringing you exceptional value online in motor, home and travel insurance paired with outstanding rewards. If you're already a customer, you can use your rewards to purchase another policy or save them for your renewal. New customers can buy online and receive 50 reward credits to get started. Now that is insurance made rewarding. Enjoy the episode. The north coast of Northern Ireland is known for its rugged beauty, but much of its economy is based on seasonal tourism rather than international business. But today, on the Driven by It's For Women podcast, we're talking to a young businesswoman who has bucked that trend and is currently building a thriving global company from her hub on the Causeway Coast. Olivia Burns is the founder of Olivia's Haven, a high-end luxury home fragrance brand that uses scents to tell stories. Olivia began trading just as the global COVID pandemic began in spring 2020. What a time. Creating a digital business that has a complementary retail side that trades through a small selection of boutiques and stores. Initially, the Olivia's Haven range included a collection of 6 signature soy candles, but since then it has expanded to include reed diffusers and wax melts, and Olivia's scents are enjoyed worldwide. Olivia, you're very welcome to the Driven by It's For Women podcast. I am really looking forward to finding out all about how you've harnessed your own personal memories and channeled them into a business idea that really seems to resonate with other people. So you're very welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Olivia, our sense of smell is really powerful. For instance, last week I went into a school and it just reminded me of primary school, that sort of chalky, dusty, slightly Dettol smell. And it brought me right back, and it felt like it was an emotional thing, really. So you say the inspiration from your scents comes from your own memories. Set the scene for me and tell us about your upbringing.
Okay, yes. So I am from Coleraine. I live out in the countryside, and my dad is a very keen gardener. So we have you can sort of picture beautiful gardens and a lovely sort of cottagey home. And I grew up there, and all my life is based around the North Coast area. So you've got like you said, the lovely rugged beauty of the North Coast.
Yes.
We also always had a little holiday home in Donegal. So it was really inspired by Donegal as well in terms of scents and memories. And yes, we have a little house on an island there called Easter Island, which is one of the fragrances that we developed.
Lovely.
So yeah, always inspired by the things around me, but also not just places, but also people and certain things as well. So all of our scents have a really personal story behind them, and are also illustrated to match that story.
Would I be right in saying that you had a very happy childhood?
Very happy,
yes.
yeah.
I'm sort of getting that vibe, and even
very
from
idyllic.
the look of your things, I mean, they're very bright, they're colourful, and it's really lovely that you've chosen to share that very happy childhood, because obviously a lot of people don't come from happy backgrounds, and it's lovely that you're able to share that, and able to share that, just that feeling. It's really, it's sort of like a vibe, I guess. That's what the young people would call it.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Absolutely. No, very happy, and I suppose very idyllic, and you always look back on your child, well, I with rose tinted glasses, don't too, but and I know that's not the same for everybody, but very, very, feel very privileged to have the upbringing that I had.
Yes, and that really comes through in your product range. So let's talk about the product range. You started, was it 6 smells you had?
Yes.
So tell us about these smells and what inspired them.
Okay, so firstly, I wanted to develop 6 scents which were totally unique and different to other things that were out in the market, combined with my background is all in marketing as well and branding. So I wanted to make sure that they looked better and were beautiful. So combining those 2 elements, I started to develop 6 scents that were inspired by my own memories. For example, one of my first ones that I did was, it was called To April, and that was in memory of my granny Avril, who was born in April. So it was all focusing on like beautiful florals, some springtime florals and cherry blossom fragrances, and very feminine packaging to match along with that. Easter Island was one of the other ones that we did, so lovely, fresh and clean. At that, one of the first ones I did as well was the potting shed, which was one to celebrate my dad and his love of gardening.
Was it like a more male scent, a masculine scent?
So it would be earthy, very earthy.
I'm thinking sort of, slightly smoky, maybe, sort of garden-y sort of
so
smell.
it would be like walking into a greenhouse and you have your tomato vines and your garden herbs. So just close your eyes right now, even if you're listening to the podcast, and just picture yourself walking into a potting shed or a greenhouse, and that beautiful sort of like those tomato vine fragrances and those wild herbs. And the warmth. Yes. That's the scent behind that. We did have one as well. I mentioned about Donegal, obviously Easter Island, but another one which really inspired me was, you're talking about walking in somewhere and just a scent hitting you and taking you back. Yes. I created one called Irish Fireside, which was to sort of to celebrate, that feeling of walking into like an old Donegal pub. Yes. And you've got that scent of like the turf fire going and people enjoying their Guinness, whatever. And it's just that real cozy, smoky scent. So that was a real masculine fragrance. And
feeling as well, the feeling that there might just be a little drink on the horizon. Yeah. That feeling of expectation and the lovely smell. And it's a Friday. I can almost smell it.
Yeah, no, honestly, so worked really hard to make them as realistic, because also I used to get really fed up smelling things and be like, that doesn't smell like what I think it smells like. Yes. So worked really hard to create unique scents that were also, smelt like the potting shed, smelt like an Irish fireside. Yes. So that when people smelt it, they were like, oh my goodness, that's exactly it. So wanted to bring that sort of joy to people as well, through the fragrances. So yes, they're my memories technically, but I wanted to sort of let other people share those memories in their home and take them back.
Yeah, you've really been telling the story of your childhood, I guess. Yeah. So what about the practical side of this? You said that you were in marketing, so I'm assuming that your background's not chemistry or whatever you need to make candles. How did you learn to make candles?
So through a lot of like YouTube videos initially. Right, okay. And just teaching myself, educating myself online, and that then I wanted to make sure, so that I learned how to make the perfect candle. I spent about 2 years trying to make the perfect candle.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't just
time commitment.
Yes, yeah, but I was tinkering away at it as I was working, in marketing, and so I just genuinely just loved it as sort of a hobby, and I wasn't necessarily sure it would lead to a business at the time, but I just wanted to make the perfect candle, the perfect fragrance range, and I suppose it just sort of developed from there. And then today I would work with, to make sure we always have unique scents, I work with like a fragrance house in Switzerland who are the chemists, and they develop all the scents, and we go back and forth on fragrances, and I come up with the brief and what it's supposed to smell like. They would send me samples and I would go back and forth with them, like more like this, more like that, a bit more of this, so that it's completely unique each time.
But this is something you've had to kind of feel your way through.
Oh yeah,
because
so
you just started
to that. It's grown.
Yeah,
to
you
that.
just started like all of us going, I fancy making a candle.
Yeah.
How do you make a candle?
Yeah, yeah.
And it sort of went
like
from
everybody
there.
starts anything. Yeah, exactly. With Google.
Yeah, well, I think you're underestimating yourself a bit, because with most things, there's a certain amount of training. You can go to college and learn. Yeah. But obviously, this is something you can't learn. This is something that you have to just learn yourself.
Yeah, you do have to teach yourself, and then, but one big element of it, yes, the product had to be perfect, but one thing I was so strong on was just the branding and the marketing and making it really
because
special.
Because of your background.
Yeah, so that was something that really excited me. Get the fragrances right, but make the product really unique, really joyful, just like the ultimate perfect gift. Because I would go into the likes of Tesco or whatever and see another vanilla candle, and I was just like, oh, it's so boring.
Well, there's so many candles. I mean, you can go anywhere. As you say, you can walk into any supermarket and there's candles sitting there. Yeah, and they're perfectly nice, but there's nothing. It's a very crowded market.
It is, and that was one thing. So that was almost like a challenge to me, because I loved that. I was really keen to stand out with the branding. So like, I started with a plain piece of paper in terms of what it was going to look like, and I really worked hard to make sure that it was not like anything else. Like, it would give me like I would hate the idea of it, somebody to say, oh, that looks just like that
like
brand.
Yes.
I've never had anybody ever say that to me, because it started completely from scratch and I've developed it completely uniquely. So, from just my brain. So
did the branding come before you actually maybe launched as a company? Was that all in place?
Oh, all in place.
So you got everything in place first?
Yeah. Really important to me, and like the look of it and the consistency.
You didn't just do like a soft launch and start. No, you had the whole thing right.
No. I knew what it was going to be, and the only thing that really changed then on every box, for example, on the branding, would be the illustration and then the story. But you have that consistency of our beautiful coral, Olivia's Haven pink that wraps.
I'm not sure whether you can see this. We'll take a little look. I'll just push this back.
Yeah.
We'll take a little look at.
There's some different fragrances there. Let me just have some of the newer ones.
I'll just do a little bit.
This is our new one,
Greek
actually.
Odyssey.
Greek Odyssey.
Hand
yes.
poured, so I'm going to smell this.
So
to see if there's some. Reminds me of visiting the Greek islands whenever I was a youngster.
So this is Sunshine Fresh. So it's like sage.
It smells like sunshine.
Bergamot.
And sage. Yeah.
Yes, and there's ocean and like this scent. Like there's watery notes in there as well.
The lovely pink
and patchouli
with the floral.
Yes, so the scene is all hand illustrated there, and that was to celebrate my husband and my honeymoon to the Greek islands.
It smells lovely. It smells like sitting out on a terrace. You know, whenever you have your wine, again, I'm sounding like I'm obsessed with wine, but anyway, and you're sitting and you've got the crisps and the olives.
Yeah,
and
perfect.
That warmth you feel that you never feel here, and it's just sort of a vibe.
Oh, absolutely. And then you've got the likes of the wedding, which was one of the first scents I created. So this is one of the ones I created before an event. So all coral pink. Yeah, that's consistent in terms of branding. Yes. And then it's just the illustrations that'll change.
Who does the illustrations?
We work with different illustrators for all the different
I don't know whether you can
designs.
see. I don't know whether you can see that. It's beautiful. It's really, really pretty.
Yeah,
and very intricate actually.
There's loads of detail in it.
Yeah, it's very detailed.
Yeah, they are lovely. So like even when somebody buys this, you know, there's a lot to it. You've got the candle story to read. So you've got the scent notes on here, which are part of the candle story, but then you can also read a little bit about what the memory for me is.
Yes.
So and other people can share in that. So a lot of people with the likes of the wedding,
I smell the wedding.
Go and get that. Yeah, of course. Go and get that as soon as they get engaged now.
Yes.
Or for their wedding day, or have them as wedding favours on their wedding day.
Now that's... You know what that smells like? A wedding shop. You know,
Great.
Whenever go into the wedding shop and it's all very pristine and white, and you stand on that little white plinth, feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
Yes. So I would describe this as floral and sophisticated. So you're probably picking up that sophistication in there.
It's funny, I can even smell, you know, the sophistication that you don't quite feel sometimes when you go into a wedding shop. It's very sophisticated.
Yes.
And you maybe less so.
Yeah.
It's just, it sort of captures all that. That's really unusual, because I'm a real candle. I'll just set that down there. So this was a very personal brand to you. So how did you do this? Right, you're obviously scaling up, and whenever you scale up, at times the message can be lost. We all know that. How did you keep it your story?
Well, again, like comes sort of back probably to like one of my training and my background, my experience in branding and marketing. That, you know, that was one thing that I am pretty. It's sort of
identity.
Comes natural. Yeah, the identity. Yeah, I was really strong in it from the beginning. You know, like this is how the brand would look, and you know, if we needed to do branding for a small area, if we needed to do like a big area, like a billboard, this is how the brand would look. I had all that worked out even before we ever started. So there's no situation in which, you know, this is when I started the Instagram page. You know, this is how it is all going to look, you know, forever, for consistency. So like kept it really, really, really strong from the start. So as we've evolved and scaled and brought in, you know, we started with obviously just the 6 candles, but then you've introduced new products like a reed diffuser. So how that looks, you know, your Greek Odyssey reed diffuser versus your candle versus your room spray versus your wax melt, and how that looks consistent for, you know, that scent. That was all worked out prior to, like I sort of know it as well, how to develop that instinctively a wee bit.
You seem to know that instinctively, and you seem to have a very clear sense of identity, not only for your brand but for you as well. And I think that's something that people struggle with, because they talk about this on Instagram. The successful Instagram people are people who know exactly who and what they are. Your why. You seem to know that instinctively.
I probably do, and
it's quite a gift.
I don't know if it is, but I really stick to it, and it's, I suppose the brand is like an extension of me.
Yes,
so then anything I like or don't like comes in very clearly into the branding, if you know what I mean, and how we scale. So then that all sort of comes together quite easily usually, but obviously there are challenges and different things like opening shops and things, and how that extends. We'll come to that.
We'll come to the challenges. So the year is 2019. There you are, you're happy, you've got a great job in marketing.
Love my job.
You've got this lovely side hustle, as they call it, and everything's going well, and you think, you know what, I'm going to quit my corporate job. I'm always so impressed with people who can do this, and then I'm further impressed with people who did it during a global pandemic, but obviously you weren't to know, so tell us about that.
So it was all actually very like serendipitous or something. So it was all worked out just perfectly for me in terms of that. So I had been working, I mentioned 2 years working on candles and things behind the scenes. I was obviously working in marketing and PR at that time in Belfast. But every night and every weekend, I started this and I just couldn't stop, and I was just developing and working on it all the time. And then my 30th birthday came around in January 2020, and I was like, this is it. I just need to tell the world that I'm actually going to do this, because I'm at that point where I've actually developed a range. I've actually got, I need to actually start talking about it now for myself. So I literally just had a big glug of champagne. And I was like, happy birthday to me. And I just put out my first Instagram post and started the page. And I was just like, that's it, I have to do it. I had it written on my goals that by my 30th birthday, I'd have like...
And what date was your 30th birthday?
11th of January 2020.
Right, so you're doing this, but on the radio, it's COVID-19. Or no, March. It wasn't even called COVID-19.
No.
January, they were talking about it in a kind of, this is something going on in China and Italy. This is something that, this is something that's happening over there. And they didn't call it COVID-19, they had another one, coronavirus. That's what they called it. So in the background, every time you switched on, it was coronavirus. And you were like...
Well, like everything, you don't think it'll ever impact you, or like how bad will that be here?
Because every day it was in the headlines more and more. So you'd given your notice at work, clearly.
So actually, what happened was I was developing everything, and it was actually on the 19th of February 2020. Our whole marketing team were made redundant.
Brilliant.
So
that's good. You got the push. Were you? And
this is what I mean. It was all happened.
Were you just told on the 19th of February?
Well, we were told that it was probably going to happen, whatever, and then we were told you basically have it was voluntary redundancy, or you could apply for this other job.
Payout.
You got payout.
You could pay out. Yes, great. So that's a bit of a cushion.
So we got a 3-month payout, which I thought, when does this ever happen? When you want to start a business and suddenly I've just been given a 3-month payout, and I was like,
there's a job that I didn't really want to do, and they're letting me go, and they're paying me.
So it was honestly, timing was amazing. Amazing. And then 2 weeks later, COVID officially hit.
Well, it was really hitting by then, because really you would have been put off on furlough and paid, whatever. I don't know what kind of
contract. It probably wouldn't have happened. You see, if the business had known, I imagine that then COVID had hit, we'd have probably furloughed me, and it maybe wouldn't have transpired. So literally the fact that happened at the end of February.
It was good for them as well, because they saved money too.
Yeah, so exactly. Good for everybody.
It was good for everybody. So you're now unemployed.
Unemployed, but then I had in my head 3 months, and COVID's hit. So I'm going to give myself 3 months. Plus I was thinking in my head, I might get a part-time job or something if this goes okay in the summer. But I was sort of thinking along those lines. It'll be fine. I'll work this out.
Yes. So what happened next?
So things just, I had everything ready. I pushed, like that day I left the office, I put my website live, and because I'd been already talking on social media about it, I had orders like come in that day.
Many?
So not many, but like a handful.
So handful that you were able to pack yourself.
I was able to pack myself and put them out, and nothing gave me like more joy.
You were using those. You were feeling that girl boss vibe.
Oh, I was like, this is amazing. This has all happened.
Look at me.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. I've got like 5 orders to pack. Fantastic. So no, I was delighted, and then it sort of grew from there, and I was just chatting on social media every day. Then we got a few really nice PR things. I reached out to like the Irish Times and things, and they then put us a feature in their Irish Times magazine, the front page.
Wow.
So then I woke up one morning, I was like, why are there loads of orders in? And then I was like freaking out. And then I realised...
Was that through your contacts, or was that just through luck?
No, I just went on Twitter and tweeted the journalist who wrote in there. I read all the magazines and and I was just messaged her, and she said, yeah, perfect, send me some product. But it probably won't be for a while.
You have to be proactive. I really like this. You're being proactive here. Yeah. You're tweeting strangers. You're sending them product.
Yeah.
And of course, it's getting quite quiet at this time because COVID. It's all COVID.
Yeah.
So, but they still have to fill, magazines full of sort of stuff that's not as important.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yes, you got your break.
Got my break, and it was in the front of, like, the Irish Times magazine, that first page. So it was, like, amazing. It was, like, the We Love. Wow. And so, like, that's a really good page to get on. So, yeah, that happened. And then things like then things happened, like, because COVID had hit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of push on supporting business and small business. And, like, RTE, like 2FM, they were doing a business section, so I called up. They were like, any small businesses want a feature? So I was like, I was driving in the car, heard that on the radio. I literally emailed, and they're like, great, can you come on tomorrow? Did an interview on there, and got orders again from that, got loads of follows. Stuff like that happened. So yeah, things just escalated, and then we were getting more and more PR, things were growing, and I got to the point where I got one order. The changing point for me was I got one order in for 2,000 candles. So then I was like,
were you able to
freaking out? I was like, well, I said yes, and then was like, I'll worry about this later. And then,
do you know, I've heard this on this podcast. I have heard this expression so many times. Yeah, I just said yes, and then I kind of worked it out. I love that.
Yeah, well, I knew I could do it. It was a time thing.
Did you have the product there?
It wasn't. So they ordered in the summer, and it was for a November.
Right.
Like,
so you've got time.
So I knew I had time. So I was like, I can work this out. This is fine. But at this point, then I was like, maybe I might need somebody else, because I also knew that like Christmas was a key period, autumn, December period. So I then got a girl, Joanne, who's still with us today, to come in. She had another job. She came in sort of evenings and weekends at that stage to help me, and we completed the order and all of that. So that was really good.
So proud.
Yeah, no, I was very proud. So that was a real changing point. And then we were just getting loads of little nice bits of PR, because we were new, so people were happy to sort of feature us.
And it was a good story too. It was a good story.
Yeah, it was a happy story. Yeah, so that was sort of the first year, and it was and then we did like a little pop up at Christmas time in Korean and stuff as well. And then we did that for like 10 days, and then that did better than I anticipated as well. So that was really good.
It was a strange time though. People were dying to spend money.
Yeah,
and they weren't allowed to.
They weren't allowed to, but then the great thing about us is the business as well as time was we were sending products, so people, I would write a handwritten note in every single order, and people loved that, because they would, and the personal meaning behind the candles I think played into this, because then people were able to be like thinking of you at this time and how you love your beautiful garden, and sending the potting shed candle, and it was all really linked in, and it just felt like a real special gift for people to communicate, and a nice way for people to communicate with something beautiful in the post.
So your channels at the time were PR, through like magazines, and things like that. You did a lot of Instagram, Twitter.
No, I didn't do Twitter. I just
to reach out. Okay, that was just to reach out. I think I saw a billboard at one stage. I was down the North Coast, and I saw a billboard, and I remember thinking, who is this girl? Yeah, is this Olivia's Haven?
Yeah, we did that.
It sort of crossed my mind. I think, she.
Yeah, we did that. That was the next year, the next Christmas. We did a big like a billboard campaign here and in Belfast.
Yes.
And that actually got loads of, because I don't think small businesses technically think of it.
To do the billboard.
Yeah, and it is like a cost, but I feel it's one of those you can't really measure, but loads of people still mention the billboard stuff, like you've just mentioned it to us. So I feel like it worked like in people's conscious for Christmas time.
We have focused very much on the good and the positive.
Yes.
So apart from the COVID problems, what other difficulties did you experience?
Probably like they're also sort of happy problems, but like trying to get things done in a quick. I was a one woman band for a lot of that first period, and I remember just even like going to my boyfriend at the time, not my husband, like going to his house and just being like, there's just so much work, and like
feeling overwhelmed.
Totally overwhelmed. I remember like driving in the car from Korea to Belfast crying the whole way, because I was just like stressed. I'd had such a busy week, and like it was positive as well, but I remember literally crying. I just needed to like, because I was finally in the car and the weekend was beginning, sort of thing, and I was like, oh my goodness, and then got to there and was just crying. But like it was a happy thing as well. But yeah, overwhelmed, I would say. Just you take on a lot, and even putting yourself out there is obviously really difficult.
Well, it is, isn't it? Yes. I mean, you do talk about sending tweets to journalists. I mean, did you get knockbacks?
Oh yeah, like definitely, or people just ignore you, but you sort of get used to getting ignored, so it's fine. But like I just think you just have to just keep going, and like you're not everyone's going to listen to you or feature you, but I've had loads of really amazing things happen as well, so you just sort of keep going.
The good outweighs the bad.
Yeah.
So right from the start, did you decide on a digital trading model, or was that forced upon you by COVID?
No, it was. I was going to be digital only. I really wanted to be digital only. I loved, like I mentioned, I loved Instagram and using that and the power of it, and it was working so well with the website. So I didn't see any reason to not do that.
That was a conscious decision to be digital.
Digital, yes.
And did you ever feel like you were in a bad place in that you were North Coast and there's not that much business in the North Coast? It's tourism, as we've said. Did you ever think, if I was city based, this would be better?
Never once. I thought that. Never once. Because of the power of Instagram, and I felt like orders. We were getting orders from America. You know, like we were getting orders from Spain, Italy. Like, so I didn't feel like I was in the North Coast.
And do you get much business across the world?
Yeah, we would. Yeah, like we definitely do, particularly at like Christmas time and stuff like that.
Wow. And would it be from expats, like Irish expats, or just
a mix, or like people who've moved, definitely people who've moved out there and stuff like that. But we do. So it never felt like that, and even just like the likes of England, and then because of the Irish Times feature, we were getting then regular customers, you know, who had bought at that feature, but were constantly buying as well.
Yes.
So. No, there was no feeling like this is just a little North Coast thing and I'm not getting anywhere or reaching people.
No, you didn't get that feeling. I suppose it doesn't really matter in this sort of global world that we live in now.
Yeah, and I suppose like Instagram was amazing in 2020 and 2021. Like it's different now. Like it was incredible then.
So from such a bad thing came something really very good for you.
Yeah, like I think starting a business now would be harder than starting in COVID time, because like with the power of Instagram, like honestly the views and everything you used to get times were unreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what kind of mistakes did you make along the way? Did you ever do anything and just think, oh my goodness?
I should know. Oh my goodness. Well, I like things, let me think, probably I've made so many mistakes. It's like
I like that. I like somebody who can admit, but I guess you kind of learned from them.
Yeah, or like maybe probably taking on to like one of the things, like maybe starting into. We did actually start into wholesale at the very, very start. So we did supply a few shops.
Yes.
And then sort of realising that that actually didn't work for the brand. We didn't want to be in every shop and every gift shop. The part of the magic of our brand is that it is exclusive and you can't get it,
of course,
as well. So we really wanted to be in control of that. So I suppose one of the things was just bringing that back to not being in stores. So like it's the same when we're not going to be supplying anymore and things like that to like smaller independents and things, because we did start with that actually. I've sort of forgotten that almost with shops and with Instagram. But we were able to pull that back quite quickly, and I'm so glad we did, because I basically, that's part of my thing. Like I really want to be totally in control of the brand. I have this fear of like our product. You know, you walk into like a department store and you see like some like candles and things just like with like about a centimetre worth of dust on top.
Yes.
Like, and I just, that is like
and
my worst
nightmare. And you can't be in control
nightmare.
of your stock then either, because you've got like 40 candles sitting in a little shop in Portchurch that nobody's looked at.
Or you don't know where they're
very sad.
Exactly. And like that's not the brand, and I really wanted to be in control of the brand, look and feel, and like and that came down to the experience and when somebody first touched the brand, you know.
Yes.
And so that was really that was definitely like a mistake, but we learned quickly, and
you pulled that back quite quickly. I thought this is just not for me. But you are sold in some stores, I think. Barnett.
So we then later on, a couple of years later, we got an email from it was a customer who bought our stuff, who was also the buyer in Brown Thomas and Arnott's.
Wonderful.
And she said, we'd love to stock your product, and I was thinking, well, I mean, it's Brown Thomas and Arnott's, so.
Well, yes.
So maybe
I'll exclusive brands.
I was very, very like big on my rule of we don't supply sort of thing, but I did let it go for them. So yeah, we do supply into there, which is lovely, and we're on their online store as well. But we keep it really tight, and like they don't have the full range. They have a very few, like small selection sort of thing.
And where
product.
else do you stock?
Nowhere.
Nowhere, right? Okay, that's easy.
No, on purpose. Like it's a conscious
you've had
decision.
pop-up stores. You did have a physical store at one stage in Coleraine. Is that still there?
Yes. We have a physical store in Coleraine. Yes, and that's also where we make everything as well in our Coleraine store.
So it's kind of you may as well have a store because that's your workshop too.
Yeah,
right, okay.
So exactly, they're all to it. So we've brought them together. We did have a big workshop in Ballymoney. We have left that this year and just moved the workshop all to the back of like our Coleraine shop, and then our Coleraine shop is there. But yeah, now we're also in the process of opening our first Belfast store as well in the next couple of weeks. So
the next couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And can you tell us anything about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, everything. We've done a little pop-up a couple of weeks ago, which was amazing. We have so many customers in like the Belfast sort of Newtownards, Bangor area.
Yes.
So give them a chance to come, because Corian is still a wee bit like far for them rural. To go and have a little smell.
It's quite rural. Yeah.
So that was amazing. So now that we are refurbing our spot, it's on the Belmont Road in East Belfast. So we're currently refurbishing that, getting the floors done, getting the.
That's a great location. There's lots of independent retailers there. I can think of some just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That you would sit really well alongside.
It's a perfect location, and we have our house like 10 minutes away as well, so that's going to be really like handy in Belfast as well.
Everything is falling into place. So how quickly did you realise that Olivia's Haven was going to be a success? What was your kind of pinch me moment where you thought, I've done it?
I still don't feel like it is a success. I'm still waiting. No, I feel like it is such hard work. Like every day, honestly, you have to be prepared to just work so hard, and I don't take for granted. Like every day, I'm like, what sales can we get today, sort of thing. And it's like this. It's a fresh slate, a clean slate every day, and I don't know. I feel like it is obviously going well, but I am always like, this could be going better.
Right, so, you're quite self-critical.
Yeah. So I don't have a pinch me moment. I suppose
yet.
No, well, there are moments, so where like hundreds of customers turn up to a pop-up shop, and I'm like, I can't believe all these people are here. Sort of thing. Those, that's amazing. Or like hearing feedback from customers is incredible. Things like that, or when you get a big feature in a publication, or Brian Thomas get in touch. Those are all big moments for the brand, or when we're opening a Belfast store. But I feel like we're only at the beginning of our journey. Like I'm very focused on keeping going and not stopping here. I definitely don't feel like I'm at the point where this is a success and I can just be like.
Now you're about to have a huge life change.
Yes.
You're pregnant.
Yeah, I am.
So you're expecting your first baby. So how will that change things? Will you be taking time off?
No, I will not be taking time off.
Glad to hear it.
You don't get maternity pay when you are have your own business.
You'll have to put the baby in a sling and pour those candles.
Yeah, she's just gonna have to just get involved.
She's gonna have to. And I wonder if you'll make a baby-inspired candle.
Watch the space.
I think there'll be a baby-inspired candle coming up, folks. A baby shower candle.
Maybe
yes,
just.
And that's lovely too, the way the business will adapt with you.
Well, that was the whole point of things as well, because I wanted to, when I first developed things, it was all about memories, and then my idea was to continue to.
It's your story, Olivia.
Yeah,
it's you.
Throughout
it's your story.
my life, and then allow other people to share in that.
Because people can relate to aspects of your story, maybe not all of it, but they can relate to bits of it, which is lovely, and it's lovely, for you to open up yourself like that and share your memories with people. It's your storytelling through. I love candle making, which is
I love storytelling. I love the element of storytelling. So, and I think other people can really relate to that.
Yeah. So what does the future hold then for Olivia's Haven?
Everything. I don't know. Everything, all the things.
Yes.
I'm in the business with my husband, so he's and we have now got an amazing team together, and we're really focused on just growing the business. And actually a bricks and mortar, we've now moved away from just being totally focused on online, and are going for a more omni-channel approach with our bricks and mortar as well as our online.
I get the impression that you like the bricks and mortar shop.
Love
you kind of like the idea of there's a shopkeeper vibe. You quite like that.
Love it, because you get instant feedback from customers. It's worked better than we even imagined it would in Coleraine, so now we're super excited to get into Belfast and maybe London in the next few years.
You seem to be a people person, so you obviously enjoy meeting customers.
Love it. Love it. Love meeting customers and love making customers feel really welcome, and I'm just so happy that they're even in our stores. So customer experience is huge for us, and we're able to online you can do bits of that, but I feel like you can really express the customer service element in a store, and we do it, if I do say so, we do it so well. Like all of our team are just, we will make, I feel like everybody's so welcome when they come in the store, and everyone gets a full education, and it's to be a nice experience. It's not just like a boring shop that you walk into. Like it's like a feast for the eyes and the nose and everything. So
So imagine there is a woman listening to this today. She's sitting at her desk with her headphones on, bored, thinking I could do something better than this boring day job of mine. And she's got an idea. Yeah. She's got a concept. She knows what she wants to do. Yeah. What do you say to her today?
I would say go for it. Like, develop that idea to the point that it's. I almost think of what I was like, to the point that you can't hide it anymore.
Yes.
And you know that you're onto something with it.
It's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, 100% possible. But one piece of advice I would definitely give is make it stand out, make it different. Don't just, I mean, the world has a lot of products and a lot of services out there.
Yes, of course.
The main thing before you even develop anything is, what is different about this that I'm going to do? How am I going to stand out from the crowd? Because that's going to be the reason that you shine and do get somewhere, because you're going to really struggle if you create a product or a service that is just like everybody else, or is particularly if you copy somebody or take inspiration of somebody. I definitely recommend just really developing your own style and your own vibe and your own brand, and really sticking to it, and your life will be so much easier when you
and that's something that you very much have done, because this business is you. Olivia's Haven is you, so it can't be anybody else's. It can only be yours.
Exactly.
And the future's looking really bright for you, which I absolutely love. So how can we get in touch with you? How can we look at your products?
So we have our website, so oliviashaven.co.uk. You can give us a Google. Obviously you can visit us in our Korean store, and you'll be very welcome and smell the whole range. We are also going to be, if you're more in the Belfast sort of area, if that's more local for you, we're going to be open there from the last weekend in May, so you can start to come in.
Come down. It's very close. Very close to me. I'm coming down.
That's the plan. So we're going to be open there, so more than welcome there, and obviously on our Instagram page and things like that.
What's your Instagram page?
Olivia's_Haven.
Fantastic.
You'll find us.
Well, thank you very much. We have learned so much today, and for any businesswoman out there, you can do it. Well, thank you very much for listening. That's been the Driven by It's for Women podcast. Thank you so much to my wonderful guest, Olivia Burns, and we'll see you really soon on the It's for Women Driven podcast. Don't forget to leave us a review if you've enjoyed this podcast as much as I have. Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by It's for Women, dedicated to saving you money on all your insurance needs. New driver? It's for Women also offers excellent policies for first-time drivers eager to get on the road. Telematics policies for young and new drivers provide valuable feedback to encourage safer driving, resulting in lower premiums.